Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers, including Peter Berryman, John Robertson, Brandon Trano, and IndyCar World Champion Alex Palou. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Good evening everyone and welcome live to Apex Racing TV for round 6 of the ARL Mazda Cup here at the Red Bull Ring. The Red Bull Ring is located at Spetzberg in the southern region of Austria. The race circuit was founded as Ostrich Ring, translated Austrian circuit, and hosted the Australian Grand Prix for 18 consecutive years from 1970 to 1987. It was later shortened, rebuilt and renamed the A1 Ring, and it was host for the Australian Grand Prix again from 1997 to 2003. When Formula 1 outgrew the circuit, a plan was drawn up to extend the layout. Parts of the circuit, including the pits and the main grandstand, were demolished, but construction work stopped and the circuit remained unused for several years before it was purchased by Red Bull Dietrich Maastricht and rebuilt, renamed the Red Bull Ring. The track was reopened on the 15th of May 2011 and subsequently hosted a round of the 2011 DTM season and a round of the 2011 F2 Championship. Formula 1 returned to the circuit in the 2014 season and the MotoGP returned to the circuit in the 2016 circuit season. One car that's not known for racing around the Red Bull Ring is the Mazda MX-5, but tonight that changes. For tonight's race, we are back to the 1 hour race with only 50% fuel. The drivers will have to make a pit stop during the race. Who will come out on top? Only time will tell. I am Andy Thompson. I'm joining the commentary booth with Adam Hatfield, and in the production box we have Samuli Kulo. So welcome Adam to Mazda's Around the Red Bull Ring.
Yep, hi Andy, hi Samuli, hi everyone at home watching along with us. Yeah, it's definitely not the usual sort of circuit for these little Mazdas, is it? Great long straights, more suited to the upper echelons of motorsport. You mentioned Formula 1 and MotoGP, but one thing it will provide us tonight: lots of close pack racing, even for an hour-long endurance race. I'm expecting cars to be nose to tail, bumper to bumper, all the way through tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And when we saw these Mazdas going around at Silverstone, and it provided some great entertainment on track, and I'm pretty sure tonight's race will be exactly the same. And like you said, you know, it's going to be hard for the front runners to get away with the slipstreaming that's going to be felt around this track, certainly around the long straight after turn number 1, coming down the long straight into the hairpin. So that's going to be all interesting. But one thing the drivers are going to have to be aware of tonight, the Red Bull Ring is notorious for off track, so the the guys have had an increase of 20 incident points before they have to do a pit lane drive-through. So it's going to be interesting to see if anyone reaches that limit here tonight. So we're currently well underway into the qualifying session, 23 minutes and 50 seconds in of a 30-minute qualifying. Pagnan is your current pole sitter at the moment with a 148.34, and the Pro-Am driver Kezia behind him just 0.2 of a second with Martina after his great round at Knock Hill there in third place. So our usual suspects at the front at the moment is Pagnan, but Ferrari sat down there in 8th place, currently 0.6 of a second off Pagnan's pace. But you know, with these qualifying sessions, Adam, it's all about the slipstream effect you can get off the cars in front of you.
Yeah, I'm actually amazed that Pagnan has... Whoa, Pagnan just shatters the pole position lap. I was about to mention that I was surprised he'd found 2/10 on everyone, with the draft being so prevalent around here. I imagined everyone would be going around following each other, and then just before I got my sentence out, he smashes it down to a 147.6. Now holds a half-second lead over Kezia and Martina. I imagine they're all going to be desperately hunting for him on track so they can follow his lines around a little bit, because that's a stonking lap to pull out just 5 minutes left of qualifying.
Yeah, it certainly is. And Pagnan needs to get his championship back on track. Obviously, Ferrari at the moment heading out. And we'll quickly have a look at the championship. And Adam, do you want to take us through the current championship standings?
Yeah, let's just wait for them to pop up on my screen.
Martina's just improving, so we'll just see what lap Martina can do here, and then we'll have a look through the results. Does he improve? No, he still stays in third, but with a 148.36.
Yeah, up on screen now. So, as we know, Roberto Ferrari, ever at the top, ever battling for the wins. It means he's leading the pro standings on 443 points. The SRC Miverno Corsa driver, Marcelo Pagnan, currently on pole position tonight with 422 points. That's 21 difference that he'll be looking to close down tonight. Premislav Martina, first non-Italian on the standings, currently occupies that third place with 378 points from Orazio Principato. Paul Hayden, Enrico Musumeci down in 6th place from Ivan Pinocchio and Dan Skinner, your 8 pro drivers. Following up in the green slots are Pro-Am drivers Jakub Zertsky, currently occupying the top space for Hyperion Motorsport from Matteo Barlogio, number 124. Christian Lepper in 3rd place, 317 points from him, from Ias Humantis on 308. Just 2 points ahead of Bartolomej Kezia on 306. Then following those guys up, it's Rafael Lesney, Ronald Moons, Al McCain and Niels de Kuiper. And finally, in our AM standings, Tom Bingham has snatched the lead away from Jens Goosens last week at Knock Hill to lead by just 1 point. 266 plays 265. Those two out a few 20 points ahead of Austin Knight in 3rd. Russ Fowler in 4th position at the moment. Nathan Maximin currently showing as an AM driver. I'm pretty sure tonight he's bumped up the order into the Pro-Am standings though, so we might see a green dash against his name tonight. Damien McMullen currently occupies 6th place from Ian May. Simon Serrano on 219 in 8th. Yves Fredericks and Paul Kliss rounds out your 10 AM drivers.
You are exactly right there, Adam. Maximum has been promoted to Pro-Am division. So the classifications are based off their iRacing, but obviously during the season, if the admins at ARL feel that a driver warrants being promoted, he will do, as well as moving down a class. So we have Maximum, who got that great 2nd place win in Knock Hill in the last round, and obviously the previous round was well up fighting with the pros, has got that promotion. And Niels de Cooper has actually gone down to the AM classified standing, so he'll be fighting out in the AMs. It's just trying to make the fields a lot fairer, and if people are not used to driving these cars but have a higher I rating, then obviously we can take the decision to move them down to have them a better experience here in the ARL leagues. But certainly seems to have paid off at the moment, where the split is pretty much even across the field. The top of the AMs at the moment is a storming one by Ian May. He seems to be coming on leaps and bounds from the Potato Nation there, just leading that AM class in 12th, with Tom Bingham just behind him, 1.13 seconds off. Maximum is currently in 10th, but you may be wondering, where are the usual suspects at the front, such as Ivan Pinocchio, even Zedzik, Nioza Cupra, Enrico Musumeci and Alan McCain, is that they all have a pit lane start here. Obviously, if you haven't watched Knock Hill, then go and view it. It proved to be entertaining, let's say. So we've gone from the craziness of the 225-minute races at Knock Hill to the sublime and a lot calmer 1 hour races around the Red Bull Ring.
Yep, so you just mentioned Ferrari. We said earlier that he was in 8th in the qualifying standings. He's bumped his way up to 2nd. We saw the back end of his lap there as he was following Pagnan around. Interestingly, he wasn't right under the rear spoiler of that little MX-5 of Pagnan. So whether he made a small mistake that just lost him a little bit of ground on that lap, or he started a little bit further away and wasn't able to maximise it. Either way, he's on the front row where he thinks he belongs, obviously.
Yeah, I wouldn't put that past him that he doesn't belong there at the front, and always pulls it out. He literally joined the session, didn't put a practice lap in, straight into the qualifying, and puts it down there on 2nd place on the grid. The man is a machine in these Mazda cars. It's quite insane what he can actually do in them. But yeah, that's the end of the qualifying session here. So we're looking forward to a 60-minute race. All out. Cars are only at 50% fuel in, so they will have to make a pit stop during the race, which adds a little bit of spice into it, because these drivers are not used to, and these cars are not used to doing pit stops. So and the pit entry into this Red Bull ring is extremely fast, so the drivers just need to be aware. We've seen a few drivers being caught out by speeding in a penalty into the pit lane, so the drivers are going to have to really be aware of that around this track, because it's literally a downhill to that line, the timing line, before you come into the pits.
Yeah, another thing I'd mention on pit entry, it's actually on the racing line. We come through turn 9, the right-hander. Drivers entering the pits tend to take it a little bit tighter, a little bit slower, and it can cause backups. I was commentating the Spec Racer Fords earlier in the year, and all hell broke loose when a few cars tried to dive into the pits. So we'll be keeping our eyes on stalks when that time comes round, I think.
Yeah, definitely. It can cause a bit of chaos, like you say, coming in. So you can see a good picture of it there, the pit lane entry off that turn number 9. It's yeah, it's entertaining when you're in the faster cars. It's going to be interesting in these sort of slower Mazdas, which the car behind will be trying to slipstream them. So I think the drivers will have to say when they are pitting in to the pits. But looking forward to this one. It's going to be really good coming around to turn 1, Nicky Lola corner, down that long straight in these cars. It should be quite powerful on the slipstream, so I'm expecting to see some passes and maybe some lunges, shall we say, going into the AMG AG corner at turn 3, the hairpin right at the end of that long straight. So it's certainly going to be interesting.
Yeah, I imagine a few drivers in the opening laps who feel they're not quite in the grid positions they should be. Might be making a few hairy dives into turn 1 and turn 3 in particular. You'll certainly see some 3 wide, possibly even 4 wide action early on, I expect. And then hopefully they'll all take the medicine, calm down a little bit through the middle, and concentrate on getting to the end of the race. A long race, an hour long. You've got to pace yourself. Be sensible, make sure you're in the game at the end.
Definitely, as the drivers should now start being going onto the grid, and we can take you through the starting position. So over to you, Adam.
Thank you very much. It's Marcel Pagnan, as we mentioned, on pole position with a sublime 147.68 to beat out his Italian rival in Roberto Ferrari, just 0.14 behind. Branislav Martina heads up the second row in third place from Paul Hayden. Christian Alepa, first of the Pro-Ams, in fifth from Bartolomej Kedzia. Matteo Barloggio on seventh spot from Orazio Principato. Rafael Lesney in ninth. Nathan Maximin, his first drive in the Pro-Ams standings, in 10th. Dan Skinner lines up 11th from our first AM driver. Ian May of Potato Nation there in 12th. Driving the number 285, leader of the AM series, it's Tom Bingham in 13th from Ias Humantis. Tony Pearman in 15th from Jay Walsh. Russ Fowler lines up 17th from David Clasper. Damien McMullen heads the 10th row. Alongside him, Simon Serrano. Hughes Fredericks in 21st from Ronald Moons. Enrico Musumeci, first driver not to have set a time, in 23rd. And even Pinocchio in 24th. And last few drivers, Jakub Zertsky from 25th. Niels de Kuiper 26th, and Alan McCain off the back of the grid in 27th. 5 drivers there who served out their penalties, won't be in the positions they'd hoped to. They've got to do some climbing tonight.
Yeah, they certainly do. To watch them coming through from the back should be an entertaining race for them, trying to work their way through the AMs and then the Pro-Ams. So eagerly and anticipating looking where they come at the end of this race. Obviously just letting the timer run out for the guys that are in that pit lane start, so we should be getting underway very shortly. And just obviously, as you saw in the times on the side, it's 7 o'clock in the morning and we have got the red lights on, so we're getting ready. That's 4 and 5, and we are racing away now as Pagnan gets a good start there. Ferrari, pretty mediocre start from himself, and Martinez up alongside him and actually managed to take a position there off Roberto Ferrari off the start of the line. So Ferrari down 1 at the moment. Hayden making a good move up there into 4th place, managing to keep that over. So the big long train now coming down the long straight here, coming into turn. Well, they say it's the turn. It's more of a kink here at turn 2, but look at Martino on the back of Pagnan, literally pushing him along at the moment as they come down to the hairpin for the first time. Let's see if anybody makes a lunge move down the field in there. No, keeping it all nice and calm. It's amazing how calm the drivers do actually get when it's an hour race, knowing that they don't have to win it all on the first corner.
My prediction of 3 wide, 4 wide on the opening lap looks a little bit silly now, doesn't it? Everyone playing it very safe. Ferrari really bogged down off the start though, didn't it? As we watch Humantis, the inside of Pearman, gives him a little bit of a nudge. Takes the position though. Yeah, Ferrari a little bit slow off the line, just bogged momentarily, and it cost him to Martina. And then immediately we saw Martina deciding he wanted to push Pagnan along. I wonder if that'll be a feature of tonight. Drivers bump drafting, trying to break away from the pack behind by using 2 or even 3 cars' horsepower all in a line.
Quite possibly. But yeah, pretty much a safe round. Rollermoon's getting it slightly a little bit wrong through this S-type bend, coming onto the last part of the track there, the 176 currently down in there. But we see the back markers now, Musumeci, Pinocchio, Zensiki there in 23rd, 24th, just trying to get onto the back of this group at the back here with East Frederick holding the 22 position. Get a real disadvantage. This is probably the biggest track to get that disadvantage for a pit lane start, because you've got to let all the drivers through, and then you've got to make your way up, as you see there on the inside of the track, the pit lane exits, so you do lose a lot of time. So the drivers will take a couple of laps to try and get onto the back of the amateur drivers. But what is sort of noticed absency is certainly in that AM battle at the moment. We haven't got any Jens Goodson and we haven't got any Austin Knight, so the 2nd and 3rd in the championship gives really good opportunity here for Tom Bingham to try to extend that lead at the top of the championship. It also gives the likes of Russ Fowler, currently in P15th, and Damien McMullen just behind him in P16, to really capitalise on the guys not racing in this round, and could find themselves further down that order in the championship. And certainly Russ Fowler and Damien McMullen could see themselves moving up.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, it was contact. Oh, we've got Moons and Clasper. Clasper out into the dirt. manages to keep it all going. I was about to mention that lap 1 was in the history books, and amazingly, everyone seemed to have made it through nice and clean. They just had to wait for lap 2, clearly. Also, I'd mention Ian May, he was the pole of the AM category. He's dropped away, hasn't he? Down in 20th position now. Obviously, a bad start. Maybe got on the outside of a couple of battles, and he's going to have to make some recovery moves now.
I don't know if he's got off. Let's see what happened to Ian May. Oh no, we're looking at the start. Let's have a look at Martinez start here off the line. He had an exceptional start. Managed to get along and overtake that second place off Ferrari, who's just on the right of the screen that we can't see, but you can see Pagnan's car just in front, and literally just claws off the space from Ferrari and gets a blistering start. And obviously saw coming down that long straight, just bouncing into the back of Pagnan and pushing him along. So Ferrari wasn't expecting that, and I wasn't expecting that in the commentary, Ferrari being where he was. But yeah, Ian May, what's happened to him? He's literally right at the back there. So let's have a look.
Literally in last place, wasn't he, there when we joined him?
Yeah. So let's have a look here to Ian May, the top of the AM driver here at the start. Does he bog it down? Oh, he doesn't go at all. Oh, he's in reverse. He actually got it in the wrong gear. Oh no. What are you doing? You know, an excellent qualifying there, and unfortunately puts it in reverse off the line. Lucky to cause a pile up there at the start. So big respect to the drivers behind him, who've done an excellent job.
So sorry, I think you might have been hoping that you got away with that one and not had to see it on screen, but no, we've seen it in all its glory now. You'll be reliving that one for a few weeks to come.
Most definitely. I mean, okay, I can understand not getting it into gear, but getting it into reverse, I think he panicked a little bit there, but luckily got it sorted, and certainly got the pace, obviously back up to P18th at the moment, so overtaking the likes of Serrano, Clasper, Fredericks in front of him. So on a charge back up the field is Ian May from the Potato Nation, but yeah, you're definitely not going to live that one down for a little while, Ian. Reverse off the starting line. Never seen that before.
I'm amazed Nalepra's not picked up a slowdown there. He went so wide on the exit of 9. In fact, has he? Or is he just defending there? I think he's just defending, but normally it's roughly somewhere around about the green paint that leaves you with a 1 off, and the red paint leaves you with a slowdown penalty. But somehow he seems to have got away with that one. And it's a vicious slowdown penalty as well around the outside of 9 onto the entry to 10. You can quite easily lose 2 or 3 seconds trying to serve that by what the system says that you're gaining an advantage by running out that wide.
Same with turn number 1. Look at this gaggle of cars here where we've got Jay Walsh on the outside of this turn. We've got Ronald Moons in the middle. Ian trying to get up the inside of the 2 there to making a little bit of contact here on the exit. Ian comes off the worst there, trying to take that inside tight line, but you see just behind him the pit lane starters now. Pinocchio, Musumeci, Zeki literally clawed up that space and that deficit from starting in the pit lane, and is now on the back of the group. So we should see them now starting to try to get through the field.
Yeah, that was really awkward contact in the middle of the pack there, wasn't it? But these two still side by side. Fredericks, oh, down the inside. Sorry, Fredericks round the outside. And yeah, as you mentioned, the guys out of the pits have now joined onto the back of this. Ian May will be a little bit dismayed, I imagine, to see that he's not only going to have lost his positions to the guys he was fighting, but the pros and the pro-ams now and joining onto the back, and they'll slice through these guys like a knife through butter, I imagine.
You would imagine so. Certainly trying to ambitious moves in there, as you see Pinocchio currently leading out that rear chasing group of himself, Musumeci, Zeki. So Zeki, the top of the pro-ams, is going to be interesting, but here we have a 3-car battle wide now coming down the long straight. Kedzia in 7th, looking on the insides of, I believe, that is
Lojo, isn't it?
Lojo with, yeah, it certainly is. So these 4 heavily battling out. Nathan Maximum, Kedzia, Principato and Skinner as well. So it's a four-car battle here for that 7th place. I think 7th or 6th. I think it's 6th, isn't it?
6th place, isn't it? 6th to 9th in this battle. Skinner in 10th, is just a little bit off the back of these guys as Principato runs wide, gets into a 3-wide situation. He's got Maximin on the inside of him, becomes the outside for this next left-hander. Oh, and Kedzia had a look as well. Around the outside, leave each other just about enough space. Maximin using all the runoff on the outside, still alongside. Oh, and contact. Oh, and they just about managed to stay on track.
Kedzia in that outside line now should have a run on these two, but depends how hard Kedzia does a bit of defending here in front. So holding up Kedzia a little bit there, coming around turn number 9. So we see all the cars going extremely wide out on there, like you were mentioning. Lucky not to get the slowdown that you were mentioning before as well. But I think the even worse one is probably the one coming up to turn 1. If you get that corner completely wrong, that slowdown just affects you all the way down that huge long straight, and it'll affect you more in these slower cars. But look here, Kedzia trying to put it up the inside there of Maximin, pushing Maximin slightly out wide, not getting the move done, but he would have been close there to that off track to be the same Maximin.
These guys don't want to battle too much. They're losing the toe to the front 5 drivers. Hayden, the 5th of those, as we've got more battling. Tom Bingham, Behrman and Lesney, is it? Deep on the brakes. And Behrman comes out in front. Sorry, it's Bingham and Fowler, the other 2 drivers in this one.
So Pierman, obviously the Pro-Am driver there, and then you have the 2 amateur drivers at the moment at the front of the Anfield. Bingham making a move back on Pierman, coming down the hill. We'll have that outside line, so Pierman should be able to get this move done, going down the inside. Pushes Tom out slightly wide, and could give the opportunity to Russ Fowler just behind him there. So Russ having a lot better round here than what he did at Knockhill, fighting for that AM win here at the Red Bull Ring.
Oh, as you say that, that's Pearman. He's going round. Oh, just about. No, and now it goes the other way. Oh, you've always got to watch for that pendulum effect. And now he's facing backwards. Can he recover safely? Just about. Use a little bit of the grass. Get it pointing in the right direction. Wow, I think he just went in a little bit too deep, didn't he? And then maybe tried to save it with a little bit of throttle application. And the oversteer took over.
Yeah, I bet Bingham and Fowler was just thinking, no, please don't hit me as we ride on board. Did he lose it before? No, he just, yeah, too much mustard going into that, just spins it around. Luckily not to collect the guys there at the front of the AM. Gets it the wrong way of the track, and yeah, just making sure that he doesn't impede another driver, and then driving on the inside to turn around. But yeah, unfortunate there, as he was doing quite well, was Pierman. Obviously new to the championship, this is his first round. He was in the last year's championship, joined pretty late on into the season as well, so seems to like joining slightly late into the season, but does have some experience in these Mazdas, so a bit unfortunate there. But at the front at the moment, we do still have Pagnan leading the race, with Martina there in second, Ferrari right on the back of him, Mapella and Hayden. So these 5 cars have managed to form a little breakaway group over Bartolomeo there in 6th place, 3.4 seconds back off the lead. And then you have Principato Maximin just behind them as well. So 2 little groups forming, but these 5 cars at the front have managed to leapfrog the rest of the field, and do have a little bit of air between themselves and the chasing group.
Yeah, Barlogio's lost a little bit of time on that last lap. It wasn't a great lap from him. Whether Principato started fighting him again or not, I thought he might have just broken away from that gap and been trying to bridge over to the top 5, but now he's thoroughly embroiled in that battle, I think, and we've definitely just got a top 5. There we go, there's Barlogio leading Principato through the final corner. Oh, as we've got an incident, there's McMullen in there. There's Ian May again.
And Zeki as well. Oh, what a terrible round for Ian after the height of the qualifying and the misery of the race. Let's have a look what happened here. got Ian. Oh, Ian just. Oh, that's a bit of a weird one. So as I keep going down the inside there into the turn, Ian just maybe slightly turning in. It's quite hard to see on that angle, but certainly contact that affected them three in the race at the moment. Mullen, real opportunity to get some points here over his rivals in front of him, and at the moment it's not going to plan.
Yeah, we'd need a different angle, wouldn't we, just to see if it was Ian cutting across the nose of Kezia or Kezia going in too deep on that one.
Leave that one.
What we do know is they've come together and they've paid the price for it. McMullen, an innocent victim, also got time lost because of it, unfortunately.
So we'll leave that one down to the stewards if any protests do get put in. So yeah, let them to divulge and look at who was at fault there as we enjoy the racing back on track. So looking at Matteo Balogo, he's lost a lot of time. So Maximin's managed to leapfrog him. Principato as well has managed to leapfrog him. So not having the best of the last couple of laps is Matteo there, who's currently in 8th place, was in 6th. So maybe had some sort of incident, or the other two drivers in front of him are really trying to push on now and break Bartolomeo there in 8th place, but certainly struggling at the moment.
Yeah, I think we saw him get overtaken by Prince Parto at turn 3 on the last lap, and then Maximin has obviously taken. As we've got Prince Parto missing on the timing screen, have we? He's suddenly dropping.
Where's he gone?
Has he disconnected?
Oh, that'd be, well, we can see he's showing out on the timing tower and going down. That's terrible for Prince Parto if he has had a disconnect. Unfortunately there, so Prince Parto doing really well at the front of that group, in front of Maximum for that P6, but seems to have had a connection problem. But here we rejoin the fight for this amateur battle. Tom Bingham in front there on the 285 car, with Russ Fowler glued to his rear bumper at the moment. They're in 13th place, so these two are having a really good battle. A couple of cars between them and the next amateur, Casper there in 17th place, but these two having a real good ding dong out on track. And it's good to see there's no other cars around them, so they can go at it a hammer and tong within their class.
Yeah, we're a quarter of the race in now, and you can see on the track map in the top right, we've got sort of several little clusters of cars going around, a top 5 and then a following 6, and then those two are sort of against the pattern, as it were, just the two of them duking it out. And then another group starts with Musumeci in 14th. He's leading a train of 5 cars, so kind of as we expected, the draft playing a role and keeping cars very close together, but in their own little battles.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of these cars, isn't it? You know, yeah, okay, it's a big track, you wouldn't normally see these cars going around the Red Bull Ring, but because the aero is so strong, the slipstream is so strong on these cars, you know, you get these battles, these big battles going out on track, which makes it really entertaining to watch. And you know, the front 5 managing to make a little bit of a gap, but they're not that far away from the rest of the field, so still opportunity for these to come together as we watch Martina. Yeah, just looking on the inside here, Pagnan coming down into the hairpin, but yeah, they just can't get away. There's just no opportunity for the front guy to get away that we've seen in previous rounds.
Yeah, once you're in your pack, you're kind of stuck there for the rest of the race, unless you're one of the ultra talented drivers who can set blistering lap after blistering lap and maybe break the toe. We might see that from Musumeci and Pinocchio, obviously coming back from a pit lane start. I imagine they'll bridge the gap to Bingham and Fowler before you know it. Oh, as we've got Clasper pointing the wrong way. As that exit of turn 3.
That's a hairpin, yeah. Obviously, looks like maybe he got that wrong. Don't know if he was involved. Let's have a look at the replay here. So coming down the long straight, that's Ronald Moons just in front of him, with Sereno just behind. Oh, has that been a net code? I think that might have been, or a slight little tap from the back there, but spun him around. So where he was fighting for 3rd place in the AMS is currently down to 4th, and about 4 seconds off the back of Serrano.
Meanwhile, Barlojo decides he wants to lead this train again. Goes past Maximin on the way into 9. All this battling is bringing Humantis and Skinner, and not forgetting Lesney, back into the pack. So it's a 6-car train from 6th to 11th. As Maximin could do in a little bit of Morse code on the rear bumper as we head into turn 1. Sensibly just brakes a little bit early, gives it a little bit of air on the way in there. But yeah, these 6 cars clear the midfield battle, having lost the toe from the top 5 now.
Yeah, 5.96 seconds between Paul Hayden and Bellagio here in 6th place. So well and truly lost that slipstream, but they've got their own little battle from 6th all the way down to P11 there, or with under a second away, so they're heavily fighting. But we see there Russ Fowler managing to make a move on Tom Bingham, but I think Tom Bingham may have got the cut back here, so they're going to be side by side coming down here into Ranch into turn 4. Tom Bingham's got that inside line, the favoured inside line that gives you a good run, but he'll push Russ Fowler out here. So Russ taking an extremely long wide to try and cut back, try and get that inside line, and it looks like he might have got it done, but Tom will have the all-important inside line coming down into the power horse.
Yeah, these two continue battling as they are. I expect Musumeci and Pinocchio to be with them in about 5 to 6 laps time, taking roughly a second a lap out of them. There we go, on screen for you now. These two experienced drivers obviously working together. They're not going to battle. They want to get as high up the grid as they possibly can come the end of the race. So they know the way to do that is to work together. Interesting to see whether they're using a bump draft technique or maybe they're swapping positions down the straights. If we keep with them, we might get a chance to see that.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a story of two after the pit lane start. These two guys currently out on screen up to 14th and 15th respectively, but the other pit lane starts, so Zicki and McCain there in 24th and 25th place. We saw Zicki get into a little altercation with Ian May coming around turn number 7, which put paid to his advances. So we see him there, as he says, probably one of our first pit lane entries, 20 minutes in to an hour-long race. Bit early, but I wonder if he'll be able to get it, considering you can only put 50% fuel into these cars. That may be a little bit too early, but only time will tell.
Yeah, another thing to consider is how many of these cars in the packs are just feathering the throttle a little bit, trying to make their fuel last and then have a shorter pit stop later in the race. It's definitely going to be in a few of their heads, the drivers that are thinking ahead, I imagine. These guys aren't thinking ahead though, side by side. Humantis, Barlogio.
Keta there on the inside. He took it extremely wide coming down there into turn number 4. Bellagio managed to get the move done, but obviously Keta had that faster speed going around the outside, so still managing to hold that position. And I think that's Ian May that we can just see the orange car just in front. So there's that fall of grace that Ian May's had, unfortunately, as we saw him off the start line, putting it in reverse. Obviously not happy with getting top of the AM standing, wanted it to be at the back, so put it in reverse off the start line and thing. But here is Pagnan into the first, so it may be that they're going to have to stop twice around here at the Red Bull Ring with only 50% fuel. I think this is the first time that we're possibly going to see a 2-stop during the race.
Musumeci in as well, so that's 2 of the pro drivers from either end of the field at the moment, but both coming in, and Serrano as well. So yeah, it's quite possible that some of these drivers may be looking at a 2-stop. It is early. I mean, we've got 22 minutes gone. Oh, as Musumeci, compounding his problems. He's missed his box. We saw him reversing back there. So and now taking tyres as well.
Yeah, it's quite interesting to see on these drivers. They have been taking tyres around when they have had the pit stops on these hour-long races. Looks like they're only taking the right-hand side, as we see Serrano taking all 4 tyres. Looks like Musumeci only taking the brand new left-hand side tyres. So we'll look on board and watch Musumeci here just overshooting his pit. In fact, he doesn't even get into it and literally reversing into his pit stop. So it's very unorthodox.
Yeah, it looked like he just wasn't looking for his box then, didn't he? He didn't even get turned in time. So a real fluky mistake there. It's brought him out with Serrano. He was well ahead of the AM driver before they entered the pits. Meanwhile, Pagnan's come out in 15th place. No one around him. So he can just drive his own race for the next few laps. Unfortunately, not going to have any slipstream. As Ferrari's next in, Ferrari dives for the pits.
So that's two of the top three currently in. Martina seems to be having a real change of fortune here. He struggled a little bit in the opening rounds with Martina, but certainly in the last round in Knock Hill, something's changed with himself in this car. Obviously got used to it, and again being exceptionally strong here at the Red Bull Ring and currently leading out this field. Obviously still yet to stop, so it'll be interesting to see. And if they do have two pit stops here, then it's going to be here. So left-hand side tyres for Ferrari as well, so not taking all five. So it seems to be that them left-hand side tyres are taking the brunt of the wear around this track. So it's interesting to see the different tactics from the driver. And Jay Walsh getting a little bit snaky coming down that pit lane, trying to stop before that line, because you really don't want that 40-second stop rule penalty.
Yeah, I think he just caught the grass, didn't he, as on entrance. Oh, and he's another driver to have overshot his box. Had to select reverse. As Fredericks hit his marks, appears to have done. As we look at Yumantis coming out of the pits now, on the back of McMullen and McCain, battle of the Mercs.
Obviously one from England, one from Ireland.
And for the moment, it's the Irishman. Sorry, it's Northern Ireland and Republic of Ireland, isn't it?
It is indeed, yeah. Couldn't see with a small map there, but I can see it now. It's a Northern Ireland flag. So, yeah, battle of Northern and Southern Ireland there. As McMullen tries to dive down the inside here into turn 4. Oh, that was a close one there. You know, Alan wasn't going to give him any room on the inside, and looked like Damien had to back out of that corner to try and go and come again. But, yeah, I don't know what it is, where you would rather be on this, because obviously we saw Pagnan coming out with nobody cars around him, but Mr. Gimantis there is right behind this, so it's interesting. So looks like Martina saved a lot of fuel just being right underneath Pagnan's rear wing. So I mean, it's still going to have to eke it out for another, what? I mean, if you look at it, 20, it's got to get a half race distance before we know that he can definitely get to the end on one stop. But 20 minutes to 26, 27 minutes, it's a big difference there.
Yeah, you'd have to think he'd have to go a little bit further than 30 minutes as well, because obviously he's not going to benefit from any kind of slipstream when he comes back out of the pit lane. So an extra lap, having used slipstream, might be what's in order. So don't count your chickens when he gets to 30 minutes.
But the two main protagonists here on screen now, we've got Roberto Ferrari, who's managed to leapfrog Pagnan in the pit stops. He's very good at that, as Ferrari, in the pits. You know, he seems to gain that extra couple of attempts and has managed to get out in front of his main rival. And Pagnan's probably thinking to himself, what do I need to do to beat this guy in front of me? Every single race, all I see is the back end of that Pro Drive Mazda. He must be able to draw it from memory now.
Yeah, absolutely. But if you want to be the best, you've got to beat the best, and that's definitely what Ferrari is. He's proved it time and again.
Be interesting
to
see.
Side by side, McCain and Yumantis this time. Yumantis looking to make the move. I think McMullen must have taken to the pits, you know, because he's not featuring in this battle anymore. Meanwhile, we've got Maximin in now, driver from 6th place.
It's really different, the times that these drivers are coming in. Pagnan came in, I'm just trying to find him on the timing tower. There he is. He came in on lap number 12, currently on lap 16, so that's 4-lap difference between these drivers we're currently watching on screen and the drivers that are in the pit lane now. So maybe they come in slightly a little bit early to get themselves out of that battle for that lead, and to be able to get a bit of free air to be able to make up the lines that they want to do on this track. So it's going to be interesting to see if they're able to make it to the end of the race. It's going to be extremely tight, 40 minutes on 50% fuel. They'll have to work together, but we look here, Pagnan just coming alongside Ferrari, got that inside line. There's the power of that slipstream. Pagnan making the move before the hairpin corner there, so Pagnan leads out this battle between himself and Ferrari, and he really needs to make sure that he stays in front of Ferrari to try and claw back some of that deficit at the top of the Pro Championship.
Yeah, I was surprised to see Pagnan pull back to the racing line then. He really chopped the nose off Ferrari for a second there, I thought. Normally you'd maybe stick to the middle of the road. As we rejoin Martina now. Is he going to go by the pits again?
Got to come in.
He is, yeah. Takes Nalepa and Hayden with him. Shout out to Nalepa and Hayden, by the way. Doing an excellent job. Stuck with the top 5 at the start of the race, and now still there harassing Martina. As Kedzie is the next driver to Laura into the pits. Oh, and that's Barlojo behind him. Oh, just for a second, I thought they came in too hot.
I think that's who's that? 73. That is. Who's 73? Is that Paul Hayden?
Skinner, isn't it?
Skinner. Ah, there you go. It's Skinner coming in as well. But while we get around to these, watch these guys in the pit lane, just a shout out to one of our sponsors, Virtual Racing School. Improve your on-track performance with 50+ data packs, road and oval racing setups, track guides, data analysis software, and one-to-one coaching. Head over to virtualracingschool.com. As we watch the Pagnan Ferrari battle, just getting past Ronald Moons there, coming into turn 1, and Ronald Moons really just giving the space up to them. 2 faster guys coming through. Probably a wise move. He can try and latch onto the back and try and stay with these guys as much as possible, but it's going to be a tall order. So we're going to see role reversal here. Ferrari, no, not bothered trying to take the place. Quite happy to stay behind Pagnan at the moment, so maybe doing a little bit of fuel saving, considering these 2 guys came in on lap number 12 and 13 respective. So they pitted very early on in this race, so be interesting to see if they can get to the end.
Yep, we just made it to the halfway mark as well. 30 minutes on the clock. We'll see if those front 3 decide this is the lap to come in. Split the race directly in half, down the middle. You're looking back at Kedzie and Claspers now. Clasper on the outside, Kedzie to the inside. Gets that move done. I don't think it's Clasper, another driver who hasn't pitted yet. He's falling to these guys who have been into the pits.
He certainly hasn't pitted yet, has David Clasper there. So obviously up in 11th place, but still owes us that pit stop. Just looking at the pit stop, the top 6 at the moment still haven't pit in, so they still owe us a pit stop. Ronald Moons owes us a pit stop, David Clasper, and obviously we're watching Raphael Lesney at the moment coming into the pits. Ian May as well from the Potato Nation still hasn't made that pit stop. So still a few drivers out there running on their first bit of fuel, and an exceptional job to eke it out this far into the race, considering a lot of the other drivers came in around lap 12 to 16. Yeah,
the idea that it's a 2-stop, maybe not so prevalent now. If they can go beyond 31 minutes, you'd have expected them all to be doing 1 stop if they could manage it. So I expect that'll be what happens tonight, just a 1 stop for everyone. At the moment, Pinocchio and Musumeci showing 2 stops. That's because they obviously started from the pit lane.
We're joining the battle again between Pagnan and Ferrari. Just getting so used to seeing these 2 this close racing round after round within this championship. Really good, and it's really good to see that there's a challenger to Ferrari. I don't know if you've watched last season, you've just seen how Ferrari just romped away with the whole season, literally was head and shoulders above everybody else on the field. But good to see he's got a little bit of competition here with Pagnan in this season. It is obviously a completely different season to what we're used to. Normally it's just 3 15-minute rounds that we've had previously. This round we got 3 different formats. We got this format the hour-long race. We've got the old faithful 3 15-minute chaos races, as we like to call them, and then we've got 2 25-minutes. So real big shake-up in the season. I think the drivers are really liking the differences, so it's not the same old every week, so they've got to have different tactics for the different formats that there are. But we're currently watching Paul Hayden there in third place, just trying to come up the inside of Jay Walsh there, managing to give him some good space. So good movement there from the 216 to stay out of this battle for third place between the Leper and Hayden. Hayden just trying to get his car down the inside here into turn number 4. Looks like he might have it done, but he's not quite. Is he gonna go for it? Pushes the Leper out wide, but will lose a lot of speed, so the Leper will have that inside line coming down here to the Power Horse. So good to and fro in between these two drivers at the moment. Leper was squeezing it up the inside at the moment of Hayden. Hayden on the outside, but Leper decides to slot in behind Paul Hayden there for third place. But a great top of our pro-ams at the moment is Leper, and is having a great round at the moment with these two pro drivers in the front. But these two battling has let Martina get a 1.3 second lead at the front of this field, and they should be pitting very shortly, I would imagine, within the next 3 or 4 laps. I would say certainly that these guys will have to pit, but it gives us a good indication for them guys that stopped earlier on. If they can eke it out to 40 minutes, we know the likes of Bingham and Ferrari have obviously judged it to perfection and managed to get that one stop in. But we rejoin the battle here for the amateurs, still going on. Oh, going in the pits at the same time, Tom Bingham and Russ Fowler. And a bit of inside information as well. Tom Bingham is actually driving after conducting COVID. About a day ago he got it, so he's feeling pretty rough, so doing an exceptional job with COVID.
Yeah, that is an excellent job. If he can win his category, he'll feel a lot better, I imagine. Russ Fowler's going to try and stop him though, as they came fighting into the pit lanes. I was a little bit surprised. Normally you try and keep it a little bit steadier coming into the pits, but these guys obviously haven't had that memo. Going to fight every inch of this race.
I didn't see Tom's car go up in the air, so looking like he might have not taken tyres here, so very strange. That's a strange, considering Russ Fowler took a new set of lefts, unless we just didn't see on screen that Tom's car went up. I mean, did he not?
Yeah, might have just lost that in the view. Meanwhile, Bingham and Ferrari, they're up to 4th and 5th positions now. 30 seconds off the lead of this race, but they have been lapping quicker than Martina. I've been watching them, the lap times as they come in for the last few laps. These two have tended to be in the mid 48s. Martina's been struggling to get it under a 149, so I fear that Martina's going to be detached from these two when this does finally come in for his pit stop. It might just be a 2-horse race from the rest of tonight.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Tom didn't actually take tyres there, as our producer said in our ears. You know, because refueling takes so long in these cars, it's almost like a free tyre change if you do take them left-hand side tyres change. So Tom might have missed a beat there, and might be heavily under pressure from the newer tyres of Russ Fowler when they get up to temperature. So that'd be a battle to watch in the coming laps. But them two certainly out on track at the front are, yeah, a class among differently. But rejoin the battle here to see if Russ Fowler can make the move stick here on Tom Bingham.
These two battling over 15th and 16th places respectively. Through the pit stop phase, Pinocchio and Musumeci have gone by. So they still lead the AM category, 5 seconds ahead of Serrano. All three of the leading AM drivers in a line there, 15th, 16th and 17th from Zerdzicki, our Pro-Am driver in 18th. Some way off the back of these two though.
Even Ian May having all the troubles and that of this race, he's still doing actually a good job there in P19, still ahead of quite a few of the other AM drivers in front of him. So even though he decided to put it in reverse off the start line, sorry Ian, I can't let that down, mate. I can't let you live that down. And then obviously having a few spins and a few altercations with other drivers, doing a very good job. But we can see here now that Martina and Appella come into the pits, but Paul Hayden again managing to stay out. So I don't know how he's managed to do it. These cars are all fixed setups, so using the standard Mazda advanced setup. So all the setups are the same. The fueling is the same. So how Paul Hayden at the moment has managed to eke out this amount of time on the fuel when it seems that everybody else around him is pitted is quite remarkable.
Yeah, not to forget that Hayden has been at the back of the pack for the most of this one. He's been in 5th place, so 4 cars worth of draft to use. As we're looking out for Ferrari and Pagnan on the right-hand side, coming past these two. There they are.
It's a big lead.
Martinez going to be first out of the pits, but he's not going to be on the back of these two anymore.
Napella is really... that is a huge... What is the difference in the pit times there? 27 seconds for Napella, 21 seconds for Martinez. So an extra 6 seconds from Napella in that pit stop there. So complete different strategies from the same team. Maybe, as our producer said, maybe he accidentally put the tank to fill right up, so maybe that's what it was. As Ian May comes in for his one and only pit stop here. It would have been nice to see 2 pit stops here, but clearly wasn't to be.
Yep. With Ian May coming in, I think we're just waiting on Paul Hayden, aren't we now? The last of our drivers, and as I say, in he comes. The little graphic shows him up. There he is in the pit lane. He's got a 31-second advantage to Pagnan. I imagine he'll probably come out alongside Martina so long as he hits his marks.
Yeah, I think the only other driver that hasn't pitted yet is Ronald Moons, just going around in 5th place. Oh, he's taking full tyres Ian May there. Does Paul Hayden take any tyres? Yes, you can see he's taking a set of lefts. Does he take the rights as well? Probably not. Nope. So it seems to be that them left-hand tyres are taking the brunt of the way around this track.
Hayden's moving again, but he's not moving as fast as the cars out on track. Pagnan and Ferrari resume the lead.
He's got Ian May just in front of him as well, so May hold him up slightly here on the exit. But there's Martina there, just coming around the corner. So it looks like he has leapfrogged Martina for that last podium position, but this is going to be a fight to the line between Paul Hayden and Martina now in 4th place. So a couple of pocket battles with 1st and 2nd between Pagnan and Ferrari, and this battle here for 3rd between Paul Hayden and Martina. And Ian May going hot into that corner there. Luckily didn't hit the back of Martina, but yeah, certainly trying to keep up with these front runners is Ian May.
Just going back to Nalepa, obviously we saw him take an extra 6 seconds in the pits. If he has filled it up with fuel, he's going to be vulnerable to the cars behind, carrying more weight. Balojo's only 2 seconds behind him. Kedzio's along for the ride as well. So the Pro-Am fight is absolutely going to go down to the line, it looks like. 3 of them in that fight. 2 of them in the Pro fight. We'll join them now. Ferrari still wrapping on the back of Pagnan.
He just puts so much pressure on the driver in front. Obviously, Pagnan is very good in his own right, but it just seems to be, he almost looks plays with the driver in front of whoever he is, Ferrari. And then whenever he wants to decide, yeah, I'm going to overtake, he does it. It's probably really annoying for the drivers that are around him. But Pagnan at the moment leading at this race, has been leading for, well, since they came out of the pits. After lap 12, but Ferrari literally glued to the back end of that Mazda. I mean, it's just insane to watch. And you probably see he won't make a move down here, probably just bump draft Pagnan just to let him know he's there, and deciding to, whenever he wants to make that move, he will do.
Yeah, we're entering the end phase of this race as well. Last quarter coming up. These two are going to be our 1-2, I imagine, as long as they don't do anything silly between now and the end. Oh, it's Ferrari. Yeah, he's not going to let that elastic stretch very much, is he? Never more than 30 centimetres off the back of Pagnan.
You could probably just about fit an A4 sheet of paper between them two at the moment. I mean, they're just joined together by an umbilical cord here, these two drivers. Great to watch out on screen, and obviously we've got that fight. Hayden is 3.9, but Martina's still there in 4th place. So we've got this battle currently watching on screen for 1st and 2nd. There's a battle going on for 3rd and 4th, and then there's a battle for the AM Championship for 13th and 14th. So all to play for here in the different championships. And like you said, Napella, Bartolomeo in 6th place, not really closing up massively, still 1.6 seconds behind the top of the Pro-Am driver of Napella at the moment. But yeah, certainly entertaining in pretty much all 3 of these classes.
As we ride on board the nose of Ferrari for half a lap there, got a bird's eye view, or an up close view even, of Pagnan's rear bumper. We saw him cocking the wheel through turn 9 there, 3-wheel drift, as these pro drivers are more than comfortable with, maximising the slip angle to drive it round at maximum speed into turn 1, hopping over the curb on the outside, lap after lap, millimetre perfection from these guys. Behind them, Hayden. I think Hayden's actually closed down a couple of tenths these last 2 laps, you know. They might not yet be out of it, especially if Ferrari and Pagnan decide to battle it out for a few laps.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was basically a tenth of a second, 2/10 of a second faster than Ferrari was Paul Hayden on that last time. So closing in slightly, but I do love that livery. I think it's absolutely brilliant with the old timer racing. Big shout out to the older generation of us that decide to mix it with the young guys out on track. So good showing here from Paul Hayden. Currently still on that last step of the podium in 3rd place, but Martino is not going to give up the fight there in 4th place, going to push Paul Hayden all the way to the line. So currently only 15 minutes left of this hour-long race, so getting into the final quarter of this one is going to be an interesting throughout the different classes, pros, pro-ams and the amateur battles. So lots to keep us entertained for the closing 15 minutes of this race.
Yeah, and we mentioned it earlier, Nalepa was going to be slipping back into the clutches of Barloggio and Kedzia. Well, we've got it on screen now, coming to fruition. These two have been working together to hunt Christian down, number 127. It'll be interesting to see if he has overfilled it, if he's a sitting duck, or he can actually fight these two out with a slightly heavier car. He's going to have a battle on his hands either way, though, as these 3 join the fight for 5th overall.
That's quite fitting now. We do have a battle for pro-am and am in the last 15 minutes of this race. So yeah, all 3 classes hotly contested of who's going to win that top spot for this Red Bull race. But great, I love these different formats. It sort of almost calms the drivers down. You know, we saw the trials and tribulations of Knockhill and the frantic racing that was going on there, and we get to these hour-long races, and it's just as much fun, but a lot less chaotic out on track. So it's mainly down to the racing and not the unforeseen accidents that do happen on the shorter races.
Yep, I agree with you. I think we've got all the ingredients for some chaos, though, at the end of this one. Each class has got a battle on its hands, and several battles in between them as well. As we see there on the left-hand side, those are our 3 class systems. The pro drivers at the top in red, currently led, as we know, by Pagnan, battling Ferrari. Hayden in 3rd, and then Martina and Skinner in the pros, separated obviously with the pro-am drivers dotted in between. Nalepa currently leading that battle with Kedzia and Barloggio. They're going to fight it out for the podiums in Pro-Am. Maximum a few positions back, currently running in 9th place overall, 4th in class, and Yamantis in 5th. And now we see Fowler and Bingham, top of the Pro-Am, of the AMs even, in the white category, side by side, as they have been for most of this race when we've joined them. Serrano, Clasper and De Kuiper making up the rest of the top 5 in the AM category.
We just saw there, obviously, Fowler taking the lead in the amateur over Tom Bingham, but Tom won't obviously let that one lie, and will come back fighting. So these two pretty much been racing all on their own for the majority of this race. Very good friends off track as well, so I'm sure they'll be having a lot of banter out on track and enjoying the closeness of this racing. But we rejoin the battle here for the top of the Pro-Ams. Pella currently leading out, but been massively closed down. Kezia managed to make a pass on Bartolomeo there in third place in the Pro-Ams, but these 3 cars covered by a blanket, basically, if you threw it over the top of them. Kezia just trying to look around the outside there of Napella, not quite managing to get the move done, but these two working with Napella and Kezia and Bartolo just slipstreaming each other and giving a slight little bit of bump draft, maybe able to get the move done as we watch him come down here into turn 4. Kezia just got his nose slightly in front, but does have that outside line. As long as he can keep it alongside, which he does very well here, we'll have that inside line. I think he might have got it done before we go into the power horse here of turn number 5. Great move.
Really, this battle's kicked off as well as the AMs. Only the pro drivers are keeping the powder dry at the moment. The other 2 class battles are well underway. 15 minutes of cut and thrust, I imagine, for the rest of it. These guys have got to watch out though, whereas the other classes are kind of on their own in the lead battles. These guys have got Maximin leading the pack. You just saw them in the background. Maximin and Yamantis are there for them. And is that Principato? No, that's Dan Skinner even, sorry. Also in the battle, so these 3 could very well join the lead 3 in the Pro-Ams, battling over 5th place before the end of this.
Yeah, definitely. We just saw there on the time and tab that Bingham has managed to get past Fowler, so they're playing tit for tat, lap after lap, these two, as we watch them going side by side again. Just coming down into turn 4. No, this is the turn number 9, side by side, and Kezia, the 144 car, joining the battle, just trying to dive up on the inside there is Leslie, just getting himself in between Fowler and Bingham, so Bingham probably won't have appreciated that. The Pro-Am driver there of Leslie just trying to take that 14th place, but rejoining the battle again at the top of the Pro-Ams. These 3 again are racing hard at the moment.
Yep, it looks like it's Nalepa's turn to lead again. Flanked either side by Kezia and Barlogio. Oh, Kezia a little bit deep, sees off Barlogio to retake 6th place, and even gets a slightly better exit than Nalepa, I think. Slight overlap. Yeah, he's got it there, he holds the position. Nalepa, oh, just slid across the nose though. Oh, and they're all squirrely as they enter turn 6. Keep it on the straight and narrow, boys.
This is a great end to this hour-long race. You know, it's come down to the last 11 minutes of who's going to take what position in each of the 3 classes. We've got Pagnan and Ferrari at the front battling it out. We've got Tom Bingham and Russ Fowler. Currently, Bingham is trying to get past Leslie, and Fowler just getting a little bit of a gap here. So Leslie's put a little bit of spanner here into this AM battle at the moment, out on track, but it's whether Leslie can get past Russ Fowler. But Tom's doing everything he can there to try and get past the 144 of Leslie in 14th. And then we have the battle for the throw, as it's like we have, you know, deja vu. You know, Ferrari pushing Pagnan down the long straight. Oh, Pagnan making an uncharacteristic mistake there coming out of the hairpin, but Ferrari not just deciding not to capitalise on it, really.
Yeah, these guys, as I mentioned, seem to be keeping the powder dry. Let's just get to the last lap before we fight. And it makes sense because Hayden and Martina are still in the background. As we see Hayden on the inside of Martina. Decides he wants to lead this group, as we've got a couple of back markers in shot as well. Is that Jay Walsh and McCain?
That's Moons, isn't it, I think? No, that is McCain, actually. So they're having their own little bit of fight well down the field, is Jay Walsh and Alan McCain there. fighting over 24th position. So even though they're well out of this race, they're still having a little mini battle between themselves as well. So before we get into the last couple of laps of this, with just a big shout out to one of our other sponsors, Apex Racing Academy. They got 29 data packs, setups, track guides, fully integrated with the VRS, weekly group coaching sessions, plus many more. Head over to apexracingac.com to see everything that they can offer for you. But looks like Tom Bingham has managed to get right onto the back again of Russ Fowler, but that pesky Pro-Am driver of Leslie is just still in the mix between them, so he either needs to get in front of Russ Fowler, is what Tom's thinking, or Tom needs to make sure he gets a pass where he can't come back on him. But you see there, Leslie all over the back of Fowler at the moment, swerving to avoid the AM driver in front. So I wonder if Russ will just let him pass to resume his battle again with Tom. So Leslie just managing to come around the outside. So the Pro AM driver managing to get in front of Fowler and Bingham, who joined close ranks again for the last 6 minutes of this race to battle it out. But yes, it's putting a spanner in the works, is that Pro-Am driver.
You know what? I think he got a slowdown going around the outside of turn 9. He went really wide, and it's almost caused an accident into turn 1, making contact with Russ Fowler. These two AM boys are not going to be happy with Leslie.
So we see Leslie just snaking all over the track, just trying to hold up the AM drivers in front of them. As watch Tom coming around the outside here down into the hairpin. Leslie trying to go up onto the inside. So Tom just managing to get alongside Leslie, but we'll have that outside line coming down into turn 4. And Russ Fowler just tucks up behind Leslie's car here. Leslie's just pushing over to the left. He seems to be very erratic, does Leslie, at the moment, currently out on track. And these AM drivers are struggling as Russ Fowler does a big dive down to the inside of the track. Tom was pushed out wide from obviously the exit of Leslie behind him, and Russ Fowler again managing to get his car alongside Tom Bingham, and Tom has the inside line here for the power horse. Again, these two locked in a side-by-side battle.
Yep, it's tit for tat. Leslie nudging and bumping. Hopefully he'll get the message that these two are fighting for AM honours. But I don't think he will, you know. He's still, even now as we go on board, he's looking left and right. As Fowler's got an overlap on Tom Bingham into turn 9. Oh, side by side. And on the run down to 10. Fowler's still with his nose in there.
Oh,
he doesn't quite have the momentum off the corner though.
Oh, wow, what a view there from Raphael Leslie's car then to Fowler had the exit into there. Nice wishbone, there you go, there's the TV boots and the TV joint there of them Mazda's real wheel driven car. But yeah, great battle between these two AMs, and we've got another battle with Martina and Hayden for that last post. Martina just getting it down onto the inside into Power Horse, so managing to get the move done over Hayden just behind him, but Hayden's just trying to come back straight away, not managing to get it done, so just needs to make sure he tucks him behind Martina so he doesn't lose that slipstream and lose that position. That pesky little car behind him, and Alan going just there in the wing mirrors of Paul Hayden at the moment, but certainly won't be looking behind him and just be looking in front of him and trying to figure out how he can pass Martinez. Again, Fowler and Bingham here coming down into turn 4, side by side. I mean, wow, I mean, how close can you get around here? And then you've got the Pro-Am driver of Leslie just trying to mix it up between these two as Leslie just dives it down the inside there of Fowler. So it's a little bit of role reversal here with Fowler in between.
Joined Nalepa now. Nalepa, Kedzi and Barlojo. Pro-Am fight continues. It seems they've fought off any attention from Maximin, trying to close them down, and it is just going to be the 3 of them with only 2 laps remaining on the boards, I think.
Yeah, it's not going to be far of that, so it's all going to come down to these final 2 laps, literally bumper to bumper. As you see Kedzia just look onto the inside of Napella. Didn't quite decide to make it, just bide his time down here. So still in that slipstream. Will he make a move coming down into turn 4? And where will Napella put his car? Seems to have put his car onto the inside. So if Kedzia wants to make a move, he's going to have to go around the outside of the turn number 4 coming down here. So all move to the outside of the track, cut it off. So great racing out on track in all of the classes at the moment. I mean, we haven't even watched that Pagnan Ferrari battle out front because these pros and pro-ams and the amateurs are putting on such a good show here out on track.
Yep, we're going to have to join them soon though. We're under a minute and 40 left on the clock. That means the last lap is coming up, lap 33. These front two have got a back marker in front of them as well. I think that's McMullen. Whether he's just far enough ahead not to interfere. Pagnan will be hoping he can get a slipstream off him though, and Ferrari will be very much hoping that he can't.
Yeah,
one lap to go.
There was that white flag on there. We just saw it as they come over the start-finish line. So last lap shootout. Will Ferrari manage to make his move down here? But it seemed that Pagnan got a really good exit out of turn number 1 there, and has got a little bit of a gap between himself and the ever-present Ferrari just behind him at the moment. So a little bit of breathing space for Pagnan. Needs to get this corner right. We saw him mess it up slightly. Ferrari closes up the gap here onto Pagnan coming out of the hairpin, coming down into turn 4. Will Damien McMullen play a part in this battle for first place? Currently steam held by Pagnan out in front. Ferrari 0.3 of a second down as they come down into turn number 4. Ferrari still deciding not to make his move, but vastly running out of space here to make that move on Pagnan. Pagnan still driving a really good defensive line there around turn number 4. Ferrari getting it slightly a little bit wrong, and again a little bit of a gap appears between Pagnan and Ferrari out to 0.4 of a second, but closing in very much on Damien Mullen.
Barlogio gets here. Oh, in contact with the leopard. Oh, one's off in the grass. Out into the dirt. That's Kedzia. Manages to take the lead of these three though. The leopard tries to fight back. Side by side into turn 6. I think Kedzia's pulled away from these two. These two are just going to be fighting for 7th. Meanwhile, the leaders must be coming around the final corner now.
Certainly are. Pagnan's still in front, Ferrari right on the bell, but this could pay into Pagnan's hand, having McMullen's car in front of him, giving the CV. Ferrari just dives out to end, but unfortunately not able to get done so. It looks like Damien McMullen has saved that race there for Pagnan, giving him the slipstream on the last corner, but we're joined back here with a Pro-Am battle for 5th place. Kedzia managing to get out in front, Bartolomeo there in 6th place, holding off Napella. So this is going to be a sprint up to the line, and I think this is how it's going to finish. Kedzia gets that 5th, Bartolomeo and Napella in 7th place. So need to rejoin that battle for that battle in 13th place again. So we have Tom Bingham at the front. We've got Leslie in between himself and Fowler. So probably the ideal position here for Tom Bingham. But is Leslie going to try and make a dive up the inside? Right onto the rear bumper of Tom Bingham. Tom going super defensive on the inside, not giving Leslie that inside line to push him out. Will push Tom out quite wide here. Fowler just trying to make a move down here on Leslie, and then it comes to contact. Oh no! Right on the last corner, just spinning Leslie there into the last corner.
Moons and Serrano either side of Fowler. They each pick up 2 places, but Tom Bingham takes Am honours.
Wow, Fowler fighting there for that 2nd place tooth and nail for the majority of the race. The last corner coming together between himself and Leslie just lets Serrano take that 2nd place in the Am for this battle. That was a gift for Serrano there, but a great battle throughout all the classes between Pagnan, Ferrari, between Kedzia, Bartolomeo and Napella, and between Bingham and Fowler in the 3 different classes. I don't think you could get a better race here in the Mazda Cup between the 3 different classes.
Yeah, I think we had an entire hour of battling there, didn't we? Not one lap. We didn't see an overtake somewhere between the 3 categories. And those last 15 minutes were sort of breathless in the end, weren't they? Constant battling.
They certainly were. And, you know, big shout out to Tom Bingham, who's obviously contracted COVID and was saying to me at the start of this, about an hour before the practice, saying, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make tonight. But that will hopefully warm his cockles up, and he'll have a little bit of excitement. Then he can go back to coughing, spluttering, and trying to breathe in this race. But it's great to see him out on track, and the dedication really as well to just complete an hour-long race, and certainly the energy you must be using on that, fighting that hard with somebody for the whole distance. But over to you, Adam, for the results.
Yep, results are up. Let's wing you through all 27 drivers who joined us tonight. Our winner, once again, Marcelo Pagnan, beating Roberto Ferrari by just 0.3 there, possibly benefiting from a little bit of a slipstream off the back marker on the last lap. 7 seconds behind them, Premislar Martina sees off Paul Hayden for the last position on the podium. Paul Hayden coming home in 4th. Then Bartolomej Kedzia in 5th place. Another race-long battle with Barlojo and the Leper sees Kedzia win out in the Pro-Ams. 6th and 7th for Matteo and Christian there. Nathan Maximin comes home in 8th place. I know he was battling on the last lap as well with Dan Skinner and Arius Humantis, all finishing within 0.4 of each other there. You see on the right the timings. Ivan Pinocchio from the pit lane comes home in 11th place with his pit partner Enrico Musumeci. Their charge up the field seemed to stall about halfway through the race. They couldn't bridge the gap to the top 10, unfortunately for them. Tom Bingham sees off Russ Fowler right at the death to claim the AM win. Ronald Moons and Simon Serrano, as we saw, benefiting from the little tete-a-tete right on to the last corner. Fowler comes home in 16th from David Clasper. Tony Pearman in 18th from Noyes de Kuiper. Jakob Zerdzicki in 20th from Yves Fredericks, 21st. Rafael Lesney ended up 22nd. I wonder if he may have got an extra penalty there for maybe not serving an off-track, because I'm pretty sure he finished the actual race on the track in more around 18th place, which has seemingly dropped down. Damien McMullen, last of the drivers on the lead lap in 23rd place from Alan McCain, Jay Walsh, Ian May and Maurizio Principato, who we lost very early on. Those are your 27 runners and riders for our hour-long race tonight.
It certainly doesn't feel like an hour race that we've just witnessed there. It was just so much action from start to finish. Obviously, we'll just mention it once more that Ian May decided to get top of the AMs, but decided to put it into reverse on the start-finish. I promise it's the last time I'm going to say it, Ian, so you don't have to relive it ever again. And then it was just full-out battle across the field. It was a shame to lose Principato there early on from looked like a DC in the race, which put paid to his racing, but had a very strong first half of the race. But throughout the field, it was just brilliant. And we do have a driver in the interview area, Tom Bingham, so we'll get him in so he can get off to bed as soon as he's finished his incident. Obviously, has COVID. Tom, welcome to the commentary booth. I mean, wow, mate, that was an amazing race, and considering how bad you're probably feeling, that's the icing on the cake for you tonight.
Yeah, you'll be able to hear from my voice that I'm not 100%, but I just carry on and see what happens. It was a crazy race, and I did not expect the battling with, is it Raphael, I think, at the end there. So that threw an absolute spanner in the works to the race with Russell. So it was anybody's race really, and yeah, I just managed to keep it together and got past at the right time.
I mean, obviously, throughout that race, it seemed that you and Russ was in a fight on your own. There was nobody really around you before you went in for the round of pit stop. So it must be great when you have somebody within your class who is pretty much on par with you, and you can have a really great battle like you did here tonight.
Yeah, it was awesome, actually. He was really like a trustworthy driver, which was quite nice. I wasn't panicking too much going into the braking zones. I did give him a bit of a nudge, sort of like 3/4 of the way around the race, and I did end up with a little bit of steering damage, so my wheel was off centre ever so slightly. So I was kind of worried that I'd be able to maintain the pace, but luckily it wasn't any damage too heavy that slowed me down. So no, he's a real good driver and good competitor. So shame we haven't had more battles like that in previous rounds, but more rounds to come.
Oh yeah, definitely. Only just reached halfway of the season, so got the back 6 tracks to have a go at. But one thing that's really good for you is your main championship rival didn't attend again tonight, Jens Goosens and Austin Knight. So your lead at the top of the championship, although was only 1 point, will certainly have benefited from that round there. And obviously Russ, with that last corner incident that you might not have seen, Simeon Serrano managed to sneak in there from the AMs to get that second place. So extending.
Oh no way!
Yeah, so extending.
Oh no way!
You can watch it back. It was between himself and Raphael Lesney there, but I mean, a great win. More points for you in the championship, and shows your dedication, mate. Obviously, contacting COVID and still deciding to come out and race the Mazdas tonight.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to get up again, but yeah, I'm just exhausted. So, but no, it's always good and worth it to jump in with you boys and race with Apex and stuff. So no, it's always worth the effort.
Well,
take a bit more than COVID to stop me.
Well, we won't let you keep you any longer, mate. I'll let you get to bed because it sounds like you do. But before I let you go, mate, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, just obviously everybody at Apex. You guys are a bunch of legends. Everyone in the Mazda series, all good drivers, and it's really good fun. The Performance Link lads, including yourself, Andy, and my wife for putting up with my sim racing habit and my corona. So, yeah.
Definitely. You're going to get no sympathy now, obviously, deciding to race.
Yeah.
Tom, have a good night and hopefully you get better. Well, get better soon, mate, and you're fit and fighting for the next round. So, good luck, mate, and get yourself to bed.
Cheers, lads. Thanks. Bye.
And Adam, we've got the person he was fighting with in the waiting room, and I'll hand him over to you so you can get to his point of view.
Yeah, Russ, welcome into the box. You spent all that race fighting with Tom Bingham, did you not?
I did. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yep, loud and clear.
Oh great. Sorry, I'm just having some technical problems here. But yes, that was brilliant fun. Absolutely brilliant fun all the way through. I think I said it to Tom on radio as well, and he gave me a bit of a tap. Oh, sorry about that. And I said, "You're kidding? This is great fun." So yeah, really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, and obviously you had Raphael Lesney getting in amongst you during that. Did that add to the fun, or were you getting a little frustrated?
No, happening 1 and 2. I think I owe him a bit of an apology. I think that last corner, probably a little bit of a optimistic move. I had a bit of overspeed because their line was compromised going into the second to last. So I had a little bit of extra speed, and I just thought, I've got to go for it. So anyway, it cost me positions. I think it cost Raphael a few more. So apologies to him if it a bit too much.
Yeah, say you pitted sort of middle of the race, same lap as Tom Bingham. Did you not fancy giving him any time on his own tonight?
No, it's, I was just memorising what the back of his car looked like. It was great. It was fun. I wasn't. I don't know. I think I left the pit stop quite late. I maybe had two more laps that done, but I thought I'd come in and he carried on, and then he sort of took a wider line into the pit lane. I thought, oh god, we're going to come together in entering the pits, which is a bit embarrassing, but we just stayed glued to each other all the way through. But I'm really pleased because I know Tom's a class act. He's looking at his lap times in practice at Ollie. I was just pleased to be able to keep up with him, to be honest.
Yeah, and next week we're back to the 3:15-minute format at Laguna Seca. How are you looking forward to that one?
Yeah, I've had mixed fortune at Laguna Seca. I think it was last round in last season, and I picked up some stupid penalties and ended up losing second or third in the championship. Ended up fourth or fifth, so it was a bit. Yeah, that's sort of still gives me nightmares. So hoping for better luck this time.
Fantastic! Congratulations on what ultimately ended up being third in the AMS tonight. But I know clearly you've enjoyed yourself. if you want to take the opportunity just to say hey to anyone before we let you go.
Well, yeah, I've been thinking with the events over the last week. I mean, iRacing is a very international platform, and we regularly race against Ukrainians. So I just want a bit of a shout out to Victor Lewandowski, who won the AM Championship last year. He ran with the Ukrainian flag, so I'm assuming he is Ukrainian. So whatever he's doing, hope he's safe and. Yeah, up to all of the other Ukrainian drivers also with you. Work out.
Yeah, and obviously just one for me, Russ, is just make sure you have a PCR test, mate, being that close to Tom Bingham for that much.
Has he tested positive recently, has he?
He certainly has, mate. So you just got beaten by somebody with COVID.
All right.
So see you next week, Russ.
Yeah, thanks. Cheers.
So unfortunately, we haven't got any of the other drivers in from the other championship, Adam. It's been a bit unfortunate to see their view on how the race, but at least we got the two top of the AMs there, just giving us an insight of their race. I mean, what an epic race!
Yeah, all three categories really put on a show for us tonight. You might imagine that these hour-long races might get a little bit dull at times, but these guys have proved that to be completely false. Entire race-long battles throughout, real good fighting as well, nice and clean until we saw Russ catch Lesney on the last lap there. But of the 27 drivers, most of them have come home on the lead lap as well. 23 cars on the lead lap. So yeah, I think good fighting and just good racing all round, which is what we like to see in this series.
Definitely, and obviously, these Mazdas seem at home on any track that we throw at them, whether it's the long ones, whether it's the short ones, and there's always the heavy battling. And we, like you were saying, go to Laguna Seca next week for the ritual chaos of the free 15 minutes around Laguna Seca, so that will be extremely interesting. But just a quick shout out to our last sponsor here, SDK Gaming, who have provided the wonderful overlay that we have been treated to tonight here at Virtual Live. Head to iRacing show timing towers and relative boxes, mini maps, fuel calculators and more. Stream to Twitch with the most comprehensive overlay on iRacing. Broadcast your leads and series. SDK Gaming syncs your commentary team, cameras, focus drive and overlay with your broadcaster, as we use here on Apex Racing TV. They are our sole overlay provider. So head over to stk-gaming.co.uk for a free 14-day trial. I'm pretty sure you'll love it at that. But also, big shout out to our viewers on YouTube. Please, if you like the broadcast, give us that thumbs up. Think about subscribing to the channel and click on the bell. We have many series pretty much every single day, catering for every car out there on iRacing at the moment. So just click on that, subscribe and that bell, and you get to watch great commentary and racing throughout the week. Obviously, look at us on social media as well. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. All usernames are just Apex Racing TV. And if you fancy joining in the fun out on track, head over to apexracingleague.com and join in. There's still places available for this series for the last 6 rounds, so we could be commentating on you in there. But this brings us to the end of our broadcast here at the Red Bull Ring. My name is Andy Thompson. I've been joined by the wonderful Adam Hatfield and Samuli Kumo in the production box from Red Bull Ring, and looking forward to Laguna Seca. See you at the same time next week. We bid you farewell and good night.